What's up, everybody? Andy again, back in this lockdown madness. As yesterday I did a little bit of trading for you, showed you how the bronze pack method worked. What I want to do, but I think it's a bit late to do it now, so I'll wait until the 81 pack, see if the refresh do come back, because they end today. I also want to do a gold pack method, which I did try a little bit of myself, but the results were a little bit mixed, so I'm not really going into that. I've got the hat on again, because why not? Because I've just come in this time rather than just going out. But we'll keep it because this lockdown hairdo, my little lad says I look like Pennywise, so we better keep it on. But the beard's gone. So today, what's today's video about? It's about the most effective tactic available, or the meta, which does and doesn't exist. There are a few things to consider. So basically what I want to do is show you how to change your team and get the best of the players that you've got. There's a lot of videos claiming that there's this super fantastic meta tactic that's a be all and end all, and you're 30, and you're going to get your weekend league. Now, while these tactics can help, the problem is a lot of these guys that are producing the videos are better than you. Like, they're better than me, they're better than you. Now, you could give them 10 at the back, you could give them 10 up front, you could take no goalkeeper out, give them a team of goalkeepers, and at the end of the day, they're probably still going to beat you, but they're going to beat me. They're just better than you. So that's the tactic they use. So what you need to do is create your own tactic to counter the tactics. So this is going to be a fairly long video. I'm not going to timestamp it because I may go back and forward, things like that, but I just want to break down and give you some ideas on what to do. So basically, based on a team that you're using, how to identify a team, how to build around it, and then how to work with it, and how to improve the players that you are using, if you get me. So what I'll do is I'll start by creating a team, just a random team. I'll use whatever I've got in my club. And then I'll sort of give you some ideas how to structure it. So let's get on with it. So we're going to be using the web app. There's not going to be any gameplay or anything like that, because there's just no point, because I'll play a completely different way to what you do. I may go over my tactics at the end, and that's the thing as well. You want tactics, not tactic. You will have a go-to formation set up. But if that's not working in the game, if you've not got a plan B, then, all these rage quits that you're doing, they could be resolved. Because that's the problem with this game. 99% of players, and I notice it all the time, I'll go 3-0 down in a game, and right, this guy can only do A, B, or C. It's just one. If I stop that attack with one of my tactics, then 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to pull it back, or it's going to be a lot closer game than what it did before. So you've got to identify what the problem is in your team, what the strength is in the opponent's team, and where you're going wrong. So let's get on with it. So squad wise, where's my active squad? I better submit it doing, so I'll remove him. This is my squad at the moment. I'm just doing the objective there. So ignore this. So what we'll do, so squad management. So let's create a new squad and let's call it tactics. Okay. You've already know. Okay, I've already got one. So what's this one? Tactics. So let's clear the squad and let's start again. So I'm just going to use squad builder. So the first thing you need to identify, I know we're a good 3-4 months into the game now, but this can go through, this works at any stage of the game. So you have to identify what players you want to use. So if you want to use a Neymar or wide players, then there's no good in using a Neymar in a defensive midfield position just because you want him in your team. So you need to sort of identify a few key players, the league, whether you want to hybrid, and the best thing you can do with it. So if you think I want a Premier League squad, Then you buy the Premier League player, right? So you think, right, I've got the Premier League squad. Now you need to have a look at what players. Who's your favourite player? Is it Aubameyang? Is it Salah? Is it a Legends team that you want with Rooney and Ronaldo? Is it Kante? Is it Mane? You know, is it Vardy? Whoever it is. So you need to get that player, and then you need to pop him into your team. So I'm just going to start with a basic 4-4-2 here, and I'm going to sort of try and break it down. So we'll go with Premier League. I don't know what players I've got from Premier League. To be fair, from my untradables, from 81 picks, it should be fairly fast. So this is my team. I'm going to leave it how it is for now because I know that I've got players in better positions. But this works perfectly, I believe. So let's have a look. Lacazette. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm sure I've got a better left midfield. I've got Man. Let's put Man in. Just because why not? He's left forward. So the basics is, right, so now, say you're a Liverpool fan and you want Mane, for example, so you have to use, you ideally, you can use players off chem. I'd always recommend it because while stats are minimal and you can check on Footbin how minimal they are, you always want to be as much of an advantage as you can. So if there's any weakness in your team, now to me the midfield, if you're going to run a player off chem, to me it's, I'm going to point them at screen then, but it's your wingers if you play out wide, and your wing backs. They're to me are the ones that are okay to run off chem. This central hub and your goalkeeper, never ever run a goalkeeper off chemistry. They're bad enough as it is, so never ever run your keeper off chem. Your two centre backs definitely don't want to be off chem, and you want your strikers, and then depending on your midfield setup, you ideally want them, but the sides can't be. So we've got this team here in a 4-4-2. Okay, so you load up the squad, you load up the game, as it were. And now this squad, I mean, if I had this squad, it's pretty tasty. I've got pace, pretty much all over. I've got one weak link. My strikers are pacey, not very dribbling. Well, he's agile. Aubameyang's not too bad this year. Mane's an absolute beast. So let's take a couple of players out. So, in fact, perfect. So let's not have super meta players in every position. Say super meta. People go, well, you're not super meta. Okay, let's try that. Okay, perfect. So you're fairly new to the game, you don't really know what you're doing, and you've got this team. You want a Premier League squad, so you've got some okay players in there, you've got a decent attack, your defence is lacking. So you load up in the game, and you want to run a 4-4-2. Okay. You're playing the game. Now, because of your attack, you're noticing that Zaha's getting forward a lot. Jimenez sometimes hangs around back, and your wingers are up there. Mane's always attacking. Mahrez sort of comes through the middle a bit more. But you're constantly losing possession in the middle. And then you jump onto Reddit and you go, this game's shocking. I'm getting counter-attacked all the time. It's so boring. It's this, that and the other. Unfortunately, your weakness is, if I'm playing you, your weakness is my strength. So if this loading screen pops up, because it does, I don't know what tactical formation you're going to use in game, but I sort of see these players and I think, right, you are probably going to use a 4-4-2, something along those lines. Who have I got to look out for in your squad? You've got a strong keeper. That back line is getting abused all day long. You've not got the best midfield as a central, and your attack, you've got Zaha and Mane. So that's what I'm looking at straight away in your squad. Everybody else in that squad, fair enough. You've got Semedo and Adama there that are pretty pacey, but I'm going to exploit your midfield. And that's probably, if you've got a team, I'm not saying this exact team, but if you, whatever squad you use, and it is generally Premier League squads that struggle more than anything, and Serie A, I mean, I saw somebody raging over De Ligt the other day, and it's like, yes, he's got 84 or 85 or whatever he's got in the game, his stats are abysmal. Like, it doesn't work in FIFA for the normal gameplay. So if you've got no coins, you've not got the 2 million coins I've got sat in corner, you've got nothing in your squad, you're fairly new to the game, you've rinsed your club, you've not had the best of luck, whatever the case may be, you've made the wrong player choices down the line, so I don't know, and you're thinking, well, I can attack, but I can't defend, so I'm going to come on YouTube and go, what is the most effective tactic available, the meta, what is the best? And you might change this to a 3-5-2, you might change it to 4-2-4. Wrong. You need to look at where you're going wrong. So this is my team. I'm thinking, how, until I get my coins, can I make this team better? So what you need to do is look at it as that I would look at your opponent. I think my defense is not good enough. It's too slow. Defensive stats wise, it's pretty decent. I can bang a shadow on him, but he's going to have 70 sprint speed. I can, Maguire's got 50 pace. I can bang a shadow on him. He's not going to catch anyone. So if that's your major problem, what you then need to do is drop into your tactics and don't care what anybody says about being sweaty, or because there are sweaty tactics and the people that cheese, but at the end of the day, the game's winning, and if you're making yourself miserable or beating yourself up over losing, there's no magic tactic. Like, now, if I gave you my tactics, they might help, but you need to solve the problem. So straight away, your defense, it's slow. So what you need to do, drop your depth down. Sorry, that's width. So first of all, where are you getting exploited? You've got 2 pacey wing backs, you've got 2 pacey wingers. So you're probably not going to get exploited down the width. The problem's going to be here in this gap. There's a big giant gap for you where their strikers are, so they're going to come. Okay, so match it up on defence and condense your midfield, your defenders a little bit. Okay, your depth, if you're up here and he plays, I know that I say you're playing me, and I know that them 2 midfielders are, Wijnaldum's all right, but these 2 defenders here are abysmal. Like, I know that if I had to, whichever side, who was the other midfielder he had on? Was it Fabinho? Off the top of my head, I can't remember now. But I know what your defence is not the fastest, it's not the greatest, and them 2 centre-backs are going to get absolutely punished by the through ball. So that's what I'm going to aim to do. I'm going to aim to pull it back, pull one of these out of position, so you've got no covering the midfield, and I'm going to exploit your centre-backs. So your centre-backs, once my strikers have gone here, they're gone. None of these catch you back. Now, you can bring a wing-back in and try and cut them off. You do that, I'm just going to knock it back, leave him out of position then, and then I'm going to have an overlap down here. And if you start defending me that way, I'm just going to push these onto a higher, my wing backs or my wide players. I'm going to put them on a cut inside tactic, which I do have. And if I know that you're bringing a dammer in all the time, I'm going to punish. I'm going to mix it up, and I'm going to drag him out, and then I'm going to punish you, and I'm going to cut inside. So what you need to do is drop that depth back. Now, you've got to get the fine balance between attack and defend, but you've got a pacey team up front, so 3 or 4 depth. So you might find that helps. Now, the defensive style, again, with a slower team, you might want drop back on. You might want balanced. You don't want constant pressure with low stamina players. So another option is you don't want constant pressure, either when you've got slow players, because if your players are pushing all the time, it's going to drag them out of position. So you want balanced or drop back. Now, it's people call it sweaty. You've got to protect that back line. So drop back. Now, your offence, you've got to switch it off. You've got to switch it on. So your strongest players, are your Mane and Aubameyang and Zaha are all right. Okay, so your offensive style, you probably want 1 or 2 options. You want long ball or fast build up. Fast build up's more you're going to get everybody involved in the play, but you probably don't want that because, again, if your defenders start joining the attack, you're in trouble. So drop it to a long ball tactic. Okay, so your width then sort of depends because you're quite condensed in defence to close this gap. Increase your width ever so slightly. I mean, you might enjoy playing down the wings, then but you can change that on your D-pad in the game, like hug the sideline. So increase your width to about double because then they'll collapse on each other anyway. Players in the box. Now, again, you've got to think: do I want to leave my defence exposed with these players that you've got now? Maybe you don't. Okay. So drop it down a little bit so you're just getting your main attackers in. Corners and free kicks, again, I'm quite decent with corners. A free kick's either going to be direct or indirect. You know if you can score free kicks. To me, they're a lot harder than they were last year. But I would generally say get them down. Okay. Then we're going to move on to player instructions. Again, this is based on 4-4-2, nothing special with this sort of team, this caliber team. Okay, now Zaha, again, people just look at the base stats. There's more to them. Is it 6 or 8 stats on a card? There's the breakdown of each individual stat, and that's the way you start getting DDA and scripting and things. It's not. It's neither of them. Sometimes it's just bad coding. That's gaming for you. It happens in any game. But generally, if you're turning with a player that's got 54 agility with no composure, no aggression, no balance, and you're on the turn and you've got a keeper rushing at you and then 2 defenders closing in, you're not going to be composed. You're not going to be on balance, and you've got a 3-star weak foot. So it bounces off the post, and then you pass to the other guy who's got similar stats, and he doesn't do it, and so on and so forth. So it's not scripting or DDA, it's you're not using the players. So now you've got to think, right, okay, where was I going wrong? So I've got this fairly good attack. My defence now has dropped down a little bit, but because I'm so low in defence, I need to help myself in attack. So what you want, you always want that core. So with your wingers on a 4-4-2, have them on balanced, have them on overlap, and interceptions just leave on normal. Attacking, stay back while attacking. Okay, and you have that on both of them. Now the reason you have that is you're covering your back line. But if you have got somebody like Adama, or most wing backs in the game now are ridiculous. I mean, that Cucurella card that's just come out, people are moaning at him because they're looking at these 6 stats. He's insane. He can play anywhere on the pitch. Like, I cannot wait after just using his sort of. I think I've got first couple of iterations with his card. I cannot wait to get him in my team now. Somehow, somewhere. I might even change. I think he's going to be the centre mid that I need. But anyway, moving on. So if you do, the reason you set this up on the overlap, so if you do run forward on the overlap, your winger, as it were, is going to stay back to cover you back in that position. If you move upfield, he's going to stay back and he's going to cover your defence. So you ain't got to worry so much of that counter-attack. There's always going to be somebody in a pivot on the side of the pitch to cover you a little bit. Okay? Your defence, don't worry. In this situation, the only thing that you change, if you've got a slower defensive line, one thing that I can remember is I recommend is have sweeper keeper on, but that's only if you've got. I mean, Alisson's not the great; he's got 52 speed, but if your defence is a little bit slower, put sweeper keeper on, and it just covers if you're defending on your byline and somebody breaks through, it might just help you. Otherwise, you can just charge with the Y or triangle button. So the setting that we had on them: stay back while attacking, normal interceptions, overlap. Okay. Wingers. Depends on your play style again, but if you're playing something like this tactic that I'm giving you now, then it's how you play. Do you like to stay wide and cross it in, or do you like everybody involved in the attack? So defense, again, just while you're struggling with your team, both sides come back on defense, cut inside, and leave that one, and yes, get in the box for crosses. I can't think what I was saying then. Interceptions, conservative. Okay. Reason you're doing this is because these are going to do a lot of work for you. So they will come back on defence and they'll track back and they'll cover them gobs for you. Because they're cutting inside, your wing backs are sort of at the side of... Go away. Your wing backs are covering wide. Now, if there was an overlap, you've got to attack him with Adama here. Mane's going to sort of stay here, but then he'll start pushing in a little bit. As he drops back, Adama, if you get countered, Mane then, rather than being over here and coming back with him, and if you're manual tracking, if you switch to another player, he'll then come on the inside and stay a little bit more central to give you that cover in the middle and crowd out the midfield a little bit more. So you have that on both sides again. So come back on defence, cut inside, balance support, get in the box crosses, and conservative. The reason we have conservative interceptions is because these guys are going to be doing so much work for you, up and down the wing, cutting in for that attack, getting back on defence. You don't want them being dragged out of position and using more stamina than they're all going to use. Okay. Midfield. Now you've got two cards here. Again, this is just sort of putting start. You in your head can think, well, I'm not using Wijnaldum. I'm not using. You're not, no. But this is if you are in a similar scenario. If you've not got the pace, if you've not got the quality, this is what you do. So between Wijnaldum and sorry, it was did I say Fabinho earlier? It's Fernandinho. Sorry, my apologies. Between the two, he's better defensive. He's better attacking. So you have two things. So you've already... These are mirrored on the tactics that I've told you. For this, again, examples. Okay. And for... He's more attacking. He's got a little bit more pace. So bang a shadow on him. Okay. His pace is going to be up there. So you want this guy on balanced attack. Stay on the edge of the box with a cross. Normal interceptions. Stick to position and that's the wrong one, and cover centre. Okay, so what this will do for him is he'll again be a central point for you. So he's covering up. So if you are on the attack and you lose the ball, Wijnaldum's or whoever player it is for you, he's going to be there on the edge of the box. He's not going to run in and crowd the box for you. He's going to be on the edge of the box. So ideally you want somebody with a bit of a shooting. I mean, that Rooney is the perfect card for this. Bruno Fernandes, some of the high rated Pogba cards that have got that shooting ability as well. I think Marquinhos, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes as well. The new SBC English player, I forget his name, is it Jones? Players like that are a bit more attacking, but they've got that defensive thing. I'll have Witsel in this position. I've used him for quite a while in this position, but he's going to be everywhere for you again. So again, you want somebody with fairly decent stamina. He's not going to be too aggressive in attack, and he's not going to be too conservative in defence. He's going to cover that central channel for you. He'll help, but he'll stay on the edge of the box just for an extra option. But also, if they're ready for a counter, you've got somebody there covering you. Okay. With the I've swapped wrong players. I did want Fernandinho anyway. Let me put Kante in for now. I don't want Kante. I want somebody who's a bit slower. Not that it really matters. Add Premier League. Who have we got? Alan. He'll do just for now. Just for now. Okay, so now here you've got a slower player but he's got better defensive stats. He probably hasn't actually, but not much. But in theory, okay, he's got better defensive, but he's slower. So the tactics on this guy, we need to go back to tactics, player instructions. So this guy, you want to stay back while attacking. He's not got the pace, he's not got the legs while he's coming for you. Your crossing runs, just leave on balance. He don't really need to be bothered. Interceptions, again, have him on conservative, because you don't want him coming out of position for you. He wants to be covering that back line. Leave him again for positioning, and you want him on cover centre again. So all this guy's going to do, he's just going to be a central anchor point for you. So you've got the more attacking one that's going to join the attack. That's going to cover that midfield for you where it was going a bit wrong. You've got the other one attacking, and then with your strikers, now Zaha, absolute baller. I love this guy. This guy doesn't get enough love. People say, I think, is it the 3-star weak foot, but he's got 5-star skills, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 3-star weak foot and 5-star skill moves. This guy is my super sub. He is unreal. And so what you do with this guy, you've got a guy here that is a jack of all trades. He can do everything for you already. He's got the speed, he's got the pace, he's going to be your go-to man, he's going to be your target man. Okay, because you've got that one. And again, you've just got to work strengths, but I'm just sort of saying this is how you'd improve this team. So you want him to stay central. He's attacking, you want to get him behind. Interceptions, normal. Don't worry about that. Defensive support, have him come back on defence, because you've got that. And that don't mean he's going to be legging it down to your back line. That just means as you drop back, he's going to be there just to help you. And that defender that we had on stay at the edge of the box, he's going to pair up with your Zaha now, and you're good to go. Now, if you're in a situation where you've only got the one good striker and you've got somebody like Jimenez, not terrible, a bit outdated by this thing, but his pace is not great. So again, you want to stay central on this guy, but this guy, you want a false 9 on. And ideally, you want as much passing on you can if you've got a slower guy here, if you're working with a budget or whatever, or if you're a player that can't think of the words, like a Lewandowski, a Lukaku, somebody that's not quite a Benzema, Suarez. You don't have to have the false 9. You can have the mixed attack if you want, but you don't want getting behind. You want the false 9, so what it's going to do is it's going to drop him back a little bit because he hasn't got the pace to get through. Now, you can look at it one of two ways. You can either have him to try and get in behind, but with the pacey centre-backs now, he's probably not going to do it. So that's what you want Zaha for. Zaha's going to be that guy bolting at the net, but then you've also got the backup in Wijnaldum as well coming up, and Jimenez, again, he's going to be more on the edge of the box. I mean, again, if you've got somebody with higher agility and good dribbling, skill moves in this position, that helps as well. But you're just creating plays, creating space, and it's just more of a confusion for you. But because he's not got the pace, because you are going to have him on comeback on defence as well, he's not as high up the field, and because of that pace, he's not got as much ground if he's trying to get in behind to cover that ground and help you back. So that's one tactic. That's sort of what you do. Now, okay, so say you've gone, I'm not saying this is the tactic as well, you've got to be careful with that. So now what you're finding with this tactic is it's working quite well for you, but being a 4-4-2, you're just missing something. You can defend now because you've dropped your depth a little bit more. So this is where the most effective tactic becomes available for you guys. Okay, so you've dropped the 4-4-2, it's working, but there's something missing. There's that little bit of panache that's not quite working for you. Okay, now I want to sneeze and it's not going to come out, or is it? 3, 2, 1. Bless me, thank you. Okay. It's not all over me. So, but you're missing something. So what you've got to do now, you think, well, I've got my players that I've got, and they're sort of working. However, the gap between these guys and these guys is a bit too much. So I can't get here. Like I can do all this. I can defend. My defense is a lot more condensed now. My wingers aren't doing much. They're sort of getting up to the midfield, and then I can't get the ball up to my strikers, and he's not fast enough, and Zaha gets singled out. What can I do? Where's it going wrong? So then what you need to do in your custom little tactic is change the formation. So, I mean, a great one is, say, 4-2-2. Okay, yeah, we don't care. So edit positioning. So we've got Zaha, boom, put him over there, boom. So now all you've done is where you've got the basics and you're playing the game, you can see where it's going wrong for you. Okay. So you like having them two in the midfield to cover your defence. You like that because these two guys aren't quite cutting it until you can upgrade, or you just like using the players like a Delit or somebody who's not quite there until he gets a special card. Sorry, I thought I was going to sneeze again then. You like having them, you like your strikers, but it's these that are not coming in, you've got that middle. So in a 4-2-2, that'll move them up a little bit. So these guys will come up, and then they'll be a bit more involved in the play. And you can generally leave the tactic as it is. As I set everything up for you before, that's fine. Then you might think, well, hang on, I'm playing a bit too defensively. I'm all right now. So let's go back. Let's go back. Tactics. So okay, you've done that now, and you've got. Let's do a couple more. Let's do a couple of upgrades for you. You don't need to upgrade him. Who have we got in there? Alisson's good enough. Defender. We want a defender for you, don't you? For your new and improved team. So 64 pace, 50. He's better than everyone in here. So you're going to upgrade him because you're on a budget. And then let's add somebody else in. I don't really want to add Wan-Bissaka in yet, but we might have to. Rudiger. Do you know what? Let's just we've not got much in the Premier. Let's just say for the S&Gs. You've upgraded. Okay, so you've done some player picks, you've done some upgrading, you've done a couple of SBCs, and you've upgraded your squad, so it's looking a bit more up there now. So this defensive tactic now, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, I can attack a little bit more now. What should I do? Okay, so I've got these guys, they're a bit more up there in the pace. I've got Kanté, who's an absolute rock. I've upgraded one of my defenders now, is a bit more things. So I'm doing all this, but my players now just feel that little bit, they're not quite there. So again, you think, well, these are a bit wasted. I only need one because my defence is better now. I don't need them two defenders. All right then. So then change your tactic again. So we go back in, and we'll change to formation. Let's try a 4-1-2-1. Let's try that. Second variation. Save. Edit positioning. Yep, so you've gone for a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow because you like playing narrow, you like playing in the middle of the field. So now all of a sudden, yep, just making sure all players are set up. So now you've got that one solid CDM. You've got a couple of attacking players, but you're a bit unsure, or you get in game and you're thinking, well, I like this now because I'm a bit more attacking. I've got that missile piece in middle, I've got some cover in middle, and I've got that one guy to drop between my defenders. He's sound. It's just this guy I'm a bit unsure of, so Kante. What can I do to help? So what you can do here, or if you notice in game that you're getting punished a little bit, all right, okay, so what can we do? So attacking wise, let's go back into your tactics again. So we don't need to be on that depth anymore because you've got a bit more pace. So just put it, width. Let's go depth, first. So you can push up the field a little bit more now. Not too much because you're testing the water, but again, it's up to you. So we'll go up here. Okay, your width, the 4-1-2-1-2 is quite a narrow formation anyway. So just knock it up a couple positions. Okay. Sorry, this is on defence. Yeah, so that's fine. Sorry. You don't need it on drop back anymore. So now what you can have is just put it to balance now, so everybody's a bit more free running. Okay, your offensive style, you don't need long ball anymore. So what you can do now, you can change it into balanced, or you can play it into fast build up because you've got players in every position. Okay. Your width, you narrow anyway. So, but what we're going to do is going to make it a little bit sort of sit in the middle. Players in the box now, same, and corners, free kicks are the same. So you've catered for yourself in this position because you're a bit more confident in the game, and you've gone into this 4-1-2-1-2, and you're really liking it now. But you're just noticing a little bit because it's a narrow formation and how the players are set up. You're getting counter-attacked by the wings. Now, what you could do is on your defence. Oops, wrong one. On your width, is you could do that. Boom. But then all of a sudden you've got gaping holes here, and these two narrow players, you're no longer narrow anyway. You might as well played the 4-2-2-2. So it's not really doing what you wanted it to. Okay. So you're thinking, well, how am I going to combat this? I'm just getting pounded down the wings all the time. This is where your player instructions come in. Now again, I'm not telling you what to do here. I'm just giving you ideas. Like this is what is the most effective tactic available to you. Where are you? It's about fixing what's going wrong to you, and only you. And I've said it before. Only you know what's going on in the game. So you've got this 4-1-2-1-2 now, narrow formation. You're loving the build up, but you're getting pounded by the wings. What can I do? My defence. This guy is just sort of getting punished a little bit. So your player instructions come in now. So you're thinking, right. So my wing backs, I like where they are. So what I'm going to do on them, I'm going to put that overlap back on again, and then I'm going to leave it on stay back while attacking. You're generally 9 times out of 10 anyway, I'm best having these on stay back while attacking. Your keeper doesn't need to be on sweeper keeper anymore because you've got that slightly faster defence. You can, if you want, you can put him and come out for crosses. That's just generally what a lot of people are doing now with the taller keepers. That's fine. Now this is where it changes up a little bit. So your CDM, obviously this is your most defensive player that you've got in your team. So you want balanced defence, stay back while attacking. Okay. Normal interceptions and cover centre. Okay, so that's your man in the middle there. This guy you can do one or two options with. If you're being punished and you'd use this guy against somebody like a Rooney, you want somebody who's got quite a good pace and quite good defensive stats and a lot of stamina. Now, if you are getting punished on the counter because of that one link, you're thinking, well, there's just that one gap in defence. What you'd then want to do is cover centre and drop between defenders. Okay, balance crossing and and normal interceptions. So what that'll do is when that pivot happens in the middle of the field, he'll just come down and he'll drop just between your defenders and your CDM. So it just gives you a bit of cover, and then it'll push your two centre backs and wing backs out, or full backs, just that little bit wider. So you sort of come in at 5 at the back there. If you don't need that, have this guy on where is it? Not stick to position. Where's defensive? Balanced attack, and have on. Have this one on stay back while attacking, and have him. Where is it? There we go. I can't find it. Have him cover wing. Okay. So he's helping your CDM, but he's going to be over here. He's stopping that counter attack on the wing. Okay. Then on the other side, you have balanced attack, because this is the same sort of idea of what we did with the 4-4-2. Balanced crossing again. Don't stick to too much. Stick to position. Okay, and then sorry, my little one just popped in asking for cheeky little V-Bucks again. Have him on cover wing. Sorry, I got mixed up then. So again, covering wing. Okay, but he's not on stay back now. Then what you do with your Mahrez, defensive, have him on come back on defence. Stay on the edge of the box for the cross, so he's not going too far forward. Stick to position, normal interceptions. And then that's your man in the middle as well. Okay. Yep, that's everything for that one. So you've just got that extra cover as well. So it's these are covering your wide, these are covering your central. And then for your two attackers again, stay central. Have one getting behind. Now, what I'd do with this time, because you've got Aubameyang with the pace now, I'd have Zaha as your false 9, because he's got the skill moves. Normal interceptions, come back on defence, and then I'd have Aubameyang on stay central. Getting behind, normal interceptions, and come back on defence. Okay, so now what you've got there, you've got cover in the middle. You've got your cover out wide, so they'll cover the wing on defence. These two will cover the middle, and then these two will drop a gap there. So you're almost defending as a 4-4-2 now. So you're still attacking, and you've got the build up in the 4-1-2-1-2, but you're almost defending in a flat 4-4-2. And that's generally it, guys. So I'm sorry I've waffled on a little bit here, but the best tactic available for you needs to be set up by you. So if you're getting punished heavily at the back, put a more defensive slot on. If you are struggling to play through the middle, put a narrower formation on. Identify the players that you want to use, get a formation in your head, and go and play the game. If you are getting pounded 5 and 6-0 every game, or you're winning a couple, even if it's 50-50, like you win some, you lose some, or you're losing slightly more, whatever the case may be, I guarantee you, because you if you're watching this video, you're probably not at an elite level. I'm not an elite level. I'm good, but I'm not elite by any means. Okay, and I have improved this year. From this year to last year, I've massively improved, and I'm surprised just by changing little things. And a friend of mine as well, I'm sort of taking through, and he's improved massively. And I sort of just give him little things. I mean, then you can start going to button configurations and all that, but that's just something completely different. But it's all about taking everything back to the basics. So if you have got this position formation here, get these to drop back into defence. It's not going to affect anything. Like, just because you've got them on come back on defence doesn't mean they're going to be sat down here. They're not. It just means that they're not going to wait as more of a target man. So when you think of Kluivert or a Van Nistelrooy. They were lazy players. They were fantastic, but you won't see them running. Ozil, he got tarnished for it at Arsenal, and he weren't his best. Playmaker, who were absolutely fantastic, but there were no way he was going to come back on defence, and that's just the player he is. And that's what so all you're doing is just changing that player's mentality in game, and they're helping you. So all of a sudden, I mean, what you'll find is, you look at things like your work rates as well. I think it's Haaland who's got pretty poor work rates, and I find he's down here all the time, even on stay forward. So I mean, that can things. Obviously, you want a medium or low defensive work rates on your striker. You definitely want high attacking. Your cams, medium to medium high. Centre mids, you want high. Defensive mids, you want medium high or high, low high, doesn't really matter. And then obviously you want high defensive work rates on these, medium or high attacking on your wing backs, depending on how you play the game. But all you've got to do is adapt is to what's going wrong. So it might mean changing a player. So let me say, for example, you go for a 5-3-2 with these players that I've got now. I don't think it'll work, right? So say you want to join this 5-3-2. Not actually too bad. Right? You go on YouTube and you go, I want 5-3-2. It might work, however, you've got a few problems there. So first thing you need is you need to find an extra defender. So you want your wings backs as your wing backs. And Kante's not a bad shout, so bless me, thank you. Okay. Problem you've got now is you've got one okay defensive midfielder. These two, I mean, Mane's stats aren't too bad, but defensively these are not going to help you. So as much as you're just going to use, and even if you're higher up the echelons and you've got Neymars and Ben Cheddars and Rashfords and things like that, Sterling's, whoever, like, if they've not got the stats for these positions, they're going to be no good for you, because as much as you've got the position covered, sorry, I've been stroking my mum's cat, I get allergies earlier when I nip round, and now I'm paying for it. I'm going to cry. So as much as you've got the position covered, you need the players. So this is where your sub bench comes in as well. So I'm going to move on to plan A. You've got your plan A now, so that's your main position. So once you've done everything that I've just mentioned for you, so you've got your players, you've got your formation, you've changed your tactic, it's working wonders, but then it all goes wrong in a game, and you're like, well, what do I do, Andy? I've got nothing else. You need to make sure you have the subs. So in this position, you want a couple of subs. You want a central one and a wide one. You want an attacking player, and you want a solid midfield player, and you want to cover your strikers. So you've got cover everywhere, all over the field, but you need that plan B. And what I'll do now is I'll swap over to my main team, and I'll show you. I mean, it's dead simple. Squads. Oh, so my main squad, I need a defender. I've put him into an 81 SBC without thinking about it. I'll just put, you'll do for now. Okay, not on full chem, but it'll do for now. Okay, so you need a plan A, B, C and a D, really. So your formation, obviously, for those that you don't know, I mean, you're thinking, well, he's using Gamirez up front and he's got a striker in midfield and he's got, I haven't. Basically, you set your formation up in game like this, and then through your custom tactics, you put the players where you want them, and it'll change on your D-pad. So I'll go through each of my tactics. If you want them, feel free to copy them. If you don't, you don't. But I'll give you an idea what each one is, what each one does, and I'll leave it to you decide. So it's not the most meta team on the planet. As I say, this guy's not usually in it. I'm usually using Tonali or Rooney. Dybala is an absolute baller. I'm going to get Beckham up here to potentially come into this position here, but I don't know yet. I don't know. But anyway, tic-tac-toes. So where are we? Tactics. So 4-2-2 is my go-to. So we've got players possession after loss. We've got 1, 2, 3. Is it 5 depth? 5 width, 7 depth. Fast build up in play. 3 width in attack. 4 players in the box. 2 for corners, 1 for free kicks. Okay, I love this formation. This formation, I've tweaked it a little bit. I found it at the end of last year's FIFA. I was using 4-1-2-1-2 for a while. I were getting punished a little bit by wide players. I tried all sorts of recommendations. Like you, I got a bit lazy. I went on YouTube, what's this? And it weren't working. And then when I see people like, I don't know, Nick from the Foot Market, and going to he don't do it too much for reviews, but Ozio, for example, he's got a very Ozio's perfect example. I'll use. He's got a very distinct way of playing. He plays a bit sweaty. You'll notice in the reviews he's always watching replays. He's got that little toxic vibe to rage the opponent and quit. But he's very skill based, and if a player doesn't fit his way, he'll review that player. Not negatively, but he'll be like, oh, this player's, not as good as he could be. Where to me, how I play, that player's absolutely like book of pie. So players are subjective. Like you watch somebody like Zweibach, I love him because he plays the game for fun. But when you watch like these Nicks, Ozios, some of the higher tier players, that can get 30 and 0. They've got a very specific way of playing, and it doesn't matter if they were using Mbappe or some bronze player, they're going to beat you. So don't get too disheartened. But anyway, I followed their tactics, and that's what I realised. I'm like, well, they're using 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 or whatever. But if I gave them a 3-5-2 or 4-1-4-1, they would probably still get them same results or very little fluctuation. They are just better than me. And that is one thing that you've got to realise before I go into my tactics, is there is also a skill level. Now, you can raise it slightly, but there's a ceiling that you will one day hit, and you'll fluctuate up and down, but that is your skill level. And you see these arguments all the time. I want to smash all my mates. Like, honestly, I could go in room now and beat my little dude, 10-0. But it doesn't mean anything, does it? I could beat my dad, who's never played a game in about 40 years, but it don't really say anything, does it? So it don't matter who you're beating in private. At the end of the day, it's you're playing players that are either as good as, worse, or better than you. So ignore what people are telling you. But anyway, we go on. This is the formation that I found, and this, I don't find it has a flaw. Generally, if I'm getting beat with this formation, it's because the player's generally better than me. And that's one thing that you have to accept as well. Players are better. You are not going to get 30 unless you're... And the reason you're not going to get 30 and you're not as good as you think you are, is because you are not earning thousands of pounds each week streaming, YouTubing, and playing in these world events. You're not that good. I'm not that good. I don't even pretend to be. So that's what you have to accept. Sometimes you're not as good as you think you are. But this formation, for me, how I play with the players that I choose, is if I'm losing, every now and again you get that BS or whatever, but things don't go your way. But generally, the player's better than me. So, player instructions. Obviously, I don't have him on the wing. I'd have this guy be on the wing. So tactics: balance width, mixed attack, normal interceptions, comeback and defence. Nothing too much there. Stay central, get in behind, normal interceptions, stay forward on one attacker. So the attackers slightly differentiate each other. It just gives Neymar in my case, just that little bit of something different. You know, he's a bit more nimble. But this guy, the grind pained me. It was about 6.5 hours. Worth it. Every minute of it was worth it. When I finished that grind to get him, I was like, I'd never want to play FIFA again. Since playing with him, this guy plays well above his stats. Unreal. But anyway, that's your tactics. Your wingers, basic defensive support, getting the box across, free roam, normal interceptions, basic defensive forward, getting the box, free roam, normal interceptions. So that just gives you a little bit of mystery of what these guys are doing. Okay, CM or CDM on left, you cut your passing lanes, balance attack, normal interceptions, and cover centre. Cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking, normal interceptions, cover centre. Again, it just makes them float a little bit with these guys, and it just stops that through ball. Wing backs, stay back while attacking, normal interceptions, overlap. Stay back attacking, normal interceptions, overlap. And that's just, again, for that reason that if it keeps them on the sidelines, but it lets these guys, your wingers, I can't change them over because it's annoying me, but your wingers, it just keeps them a little bit more, so this line's a little bit more compact. So that's my go-to tactic. Next, I've got a 4-4-2. This one is if they are a little bit more condensed in the middle. So the 4-2-2 was for everything. I'll play that every day of every game. If I find that the team is a little bit more condensed in the middle, bang in the middle of the park, I'll switch to 4-4-2. Balanced, 4 width, so that's 6 depth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 width on attack. Quite a few players in the box. I think I've got 5 there, 3 and 3. So all this is doing is I can go through the middle if I want to, which is where I'm more comfortable, but I can get around the edge and then come back in again. So if you think of it like a diamond attack, I want to do that, not like an M. I call it like, you know, like if you think about most people run up the wings and then they get to the corners and then they come in and condense. I don't. And that's what a lot of people can't comprehend this way, because so many people play the same way. And this is why you need the multiple tactics, is I sort of need to like defend, stop the game. If I want to, I can come in, I can go out and I can go across. I can go straight up if I want through the middle. But if they're condensing in the middle, I get my 4-4-2 on. I can play it out from the back. I can play it across the lines, but then I can sort of bring it into my wide players, and then they'll come into a central point, and I've got so much. If you think the middle sort of presses up like that, and then I've just got this absolute apex of attack with a lot of options, and then as it defends, it'll push out again into more of a triangle, and then it'll go back out again. Covers a lot of areas. The problem with this one is that extra man in attack. So that's why I like the 4-2-2 and have them cams a little bit more in central. It just gives you a little bit more build-up play, where with this it's sort of like, it's 4-4-2, so you've got 4 defences, they're down here, and then up here you've got your attack. So getting from there to there can be a bit of a chore sometimes, but it works. Player instructions. So balance width, getting behind, normal interceptions, come back on defence. Again, just leaves that little bit of roam. Secondary striker, balance width, getting behind, normal interceptions, come back on defence. So you'll notice a bit of a trend with that come back on defence, because it just helps. Come back on defence, balance width, balance support, balance crossing runs, normal interceptions. Come on defence, balance width, balance support, balance crossing runs, normal interceptions, so then your wings. So everything's, again, they're just coming back. They've got that balance width to sort of go where they want to. The crossing runs, they'll come in should they need to, and they're not being dragged out with pressuring people too much. Stay back while attacking, balance crossing runs, normal interception, stick to position, cover centre. So very defensive on the CDM. The other one, you can switch this around if you want, but again, I have him on, I think these two are separate, aren't they? Yes, one stay back while attacking, balanced attack, balanced crossing runs, normal interception, stick position, cover centre. So again, you want your more attacking player. I do want to swap these around. Actually, I thought I had it the other way around, which answers a question the other day why I weren't noticing Witzel running forward. But yeah, your more attacking one is the one that you want balanced on attack. It doesn't matter which side you have it, but I just preferred to have it on the left side. I just feel more comfortable attacking there, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then down to your wing backs, stay back while attacking, normal interceptions, overlap, and then you don't touch anything there. So that's that one sort when you want to come up and round. Okay, next one is 4-2-3-1, ultra attacking. I don't use that one, so I'm not going to even go into it. I hate it. I can't use it. It's not for me. I ignored it. And then this one, we have the sweat. This is one that we put together to see what it's all about. I had a 5-3-2 set up based on when you're playing that guy and you need that win and it's 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, whatever the case may be. You know, you're in 80th minute at 3-3, you clutch a goal, your players are hanging. You just need to turtle up and just hold that lead by all means. Like, they've got the better players than you. You know, it wasn't a 90-minute formation. This was ultra defensive as it's set, because I try and set up mine based on the wordplay as to what it is. Okay. And then this sort of new meta come out, and me being inquisitive, I go with rejection for a while, denial, acceptance, overcome, and I thought, you know what, we'll try it. We'll set up a tactic. And we did it. This work, if you play co-op, by the way, this absolutely is, to me, is the best co-op formation on the planet, because you just, if your mate makes a boo-boo, which mine does many a time, this formation digs you out. But it also helps in one-on-one situations. It's very good in squad battles. It's very forgiving. And it should be deleted from the game, because it's just... We did it with a friend of mine. We were sort of hovering on co-op, sort of around bottom end of Division 4, and then we'd climb up to Division 3, and then we'd drop back down again. And we couldn't, just as co-op players, we couldn't get into Division 3 or beyond. I set it up for him, not on back sorted his team out for him, stayed up till 4 in the morning doing it, and we played, come on then, let's give it a go, and we flew through Division 4 up Division 3, and we're now touching Division 2, and it was just like, it's that dirty. So if you want to use a dirty tactic, do. If you're tired of being beat, broken down, now you do need a very specific set of players for this, which I'll show you, but this works. So you've got defensive style balance, width 3, depth 4, offensive 6, players in the box 3, corners 3. Okay, I'm sorry, 1 and 1. So you're quite condensed, but on attack, you're sort of smothering the pitch a little bit. And how your players line up in the intersections, you've just got players everywhere, and you're never really in trouble. So player instructions. So you want 2 attackers, you want 2 CDMs or 2 midfielders, and then here you want a player like, and this is what I'm doing the Cucurullo card for, and I think I might, because he's wasted and I don't really want to lose Neymar, that's why I'm thinking I'm using Beckham. Now, most people go, why would you use Beckham? He's dog. He's not in the right position. He's unreal. And that position there, he's a right winger, so he gets full chem and he'll drop into a CM position. The reason I've got him in at the minute is because I can mix this attack. Because this guy can literally play anywhere on the field. He can play as a defender for you. He can play as a striker. He can play as a cam. He can play as a winger, a left back. He is unreal. And I've obviously got, because I play the 4-2-2, it's normally these out wide, these two up front. Okay, and then these two are my CDMs. That's the only downside with this. What I said is you need a very specific set of players, because you need a player upfield that can cover your defensive back line, because you need an extra defender, so he needs good defensive stats, pace, and then you need that good attacking midfielder, which Beckham looks to be the one. These are all pretty attacking anyway and solid, so with Beckham in there, it just, if I wanted to use this all the time, it's like it was made for it. Anyway, that's player positioning. So tactics, where are we? Player instructions. So stay central, mixed attack, normal central interceptions, come back on defence. Stay central, mixed attack, normal interceptions, come back on defence. So nothing to there. You're just keeping them running at the net, but they'll drop back into this gap and cover the midfield for you. You're attacking CM. So this guy wants to be a strong, like I said, that Rooney card's perfect for it. A Bruno, somebody along those lines is really good, who's got the pace, got a high shooting stat, but has got them physicals. And like as you see, Bailey can't do it here. You can use a player here, but somebody who's just a bit more meaty, if you like, in there, and that's like somebody like Beckham, because of the chemistry of how I line up. If I wanted to, I'd put Beckham in if I was running this team. But yeah, balanced attack, so he's going forwards and backwards. He'll get in the box for crosses, normal interceptions, stick to position, and cover centre. So he's just giving you that extra option to get forward there. That Rooney card's made for that. He's central CDM, stay back while attacking, stay on the edge of the box for cross, conservative interceptions, stick to position, and cover centre. So again, you don't want him bombing forward, because you want, this is why it's just dirty, this one, because you've already got 5 at the back. Why not have 6? Why am I signed in like Shawn Michaels all of a sudden? No, I went to a former Shawn Michaels then, ready for a drink. Stay back while attacking. If he does go forward, he's only going to stay on the edge of the box to create that barrier between your opponent counter-attacking and you getting that ball in the net. So again, it gives you something extra, but with his stats, he's going to drop back, and he's generally got that through ball in the middle. You ain't got to worry about that anymore. That through ball has gone. Okay. Again, stay back while attacking, stay on the edge of the box, normal interception, stick to zone, cover centre. So again, Witsel, this player is just unreal. For an 86 rated player, it's going to take me something special to get him out of my team, because I just, perfect. What a player. But again, he's covering middle for you. He's locking it down. As your other players are all turtling at the back and creating that force field. I can't remember, was it Defender? I don't think some of you will remember it, but there was a game where you had like a little barrier that went off your thing and you had a little spaceship. That's what you're doing here, you're creating it, or a phalanx sort of thing from the days of old. You're just creating this barrier of Gandalf saying, "You shall not pass." And that's what he offers. Okay. Wing backs join the attack, conservatives and interceptions overlap, because you don't want everybody sat down here going, you're not going to score, because then you're not going to score. So again, overlap, it keeps them on the outside of the pitch. It confuses your opponent, because all of a sudden you've got these players that are like, oh, where have they come from? And they're out. What are they going to do? They're out there, they're out wide. Now obviously if you've got some top tier wing backs like there is now in the game, you can come in for attack anyway, and it's really good from them kickoffs. Just bombing up the wing, and they're expecting a winger to come in or you to cut back in, and you're not. You're just running straight at the net. And I think 4 games in a row we scored a kickoff goal like that last night. It's just dirty. Overlap, just make sure your other man come back. Conservative interceptions, because your team's going to be doing so much this game. You want conservative interceptions, because again, you're going to burn through stamina. You're going to you don't want them dragging out of position when you don't need to be, because you've got cover. Centre backs, just again, stay back. Nothing here, stay back. Stay back. And you're a joint attack conservative overlap. And then your keeper, balanced. If you want that extra run out, you can pop him on sweeper keeper. Just try not to. This is if anybody played the Battlefield 3 when the USS 12. And there's an episode of Battlefield Friends where you're like, what can't this gun do? Like, and it can change night to day, and it can take on the world with it. You know, this is the USAS 12 of tactics. So don't. I should crop the end of this video because it's that filthy. But that's it, guys. So set up different tactics for different things. Have a plan, an A, a B, a C, and a D. Don't just stick to one tactic. Improve players based on the formation that you're doing. You know, and it's more than one stat or one player your team. So there is no one tactic that's going to rule them all and in the darkness bind them. There's a multitude of tactics that are going to help you by just using a little bit of gaming knowledge and football IQ of where you're going wrong, what players you can get in to improve, and just setting them tactics up. So I hope this has helped. I know it's been a long ass video. Any questions, pop it down below and I'll try and reply. Again, if you can just like, if you can comment, you know, subscribe. I want to get this channel up and running this year. I've got a lot of time being locked in COVID. If I can get that platform running and I can get the content that you want out there, because I don't just want to clickbait. If I'm doing a video, it's going to be for a reason. So if I'm trading and I find a trading loophole, it's going to show you how to do it. If I find a tactic that's filth, it's going to do it. If you want me to build teams for you, let me know and I'll do videos based on like what's the best Bundesliga player, how do I hybrid with A, B and C player, and do that and I'll do it for you. But as long as the channel's active, I'll be active and I'll help you guys. So I'm going to get off now because my little dude's hounding me for V-Bucks, something along those lines. I'm going to finish the Cucurella. I'm going to see what content's out tonight, and until then, stay safe and peace and love, guys.